Hey friends, I hope everybody's doing well. Recently, I went out to a show by myself and I was speaking with the person who I was at the same table with. It turns out that this person was a psychologist, but before she was a psychologist, she was a dancer who moved to New York City for dance. And that got me really interested because I have recently been thinking a lot about if you are given the choice between choosing your dream and choosing what is practical in life, how do you decide what the right choice is for you? We started talking about, do you think it's possible to work a full-time job with a stable salary while pursuing your art? Or do you think that it's a all-in process? And what she shared was, it's always possible to make something work. Like, it's possible to work a full-time job and also become a performer and stick it out and then see what happens, but you have to love it. And whenever I hear someone say that, you can make it work or you have to love it and then see what happens, I understand where they're coming from. And there's also a part of me that is sometimes skeptical about whether or not they truly mean that, or if they are just saying something that they hear other people say without really thinking about it. And not to say that there's anything wrong with that. I think people just tend to instinctively say things that they are used to hearing without fully practicing it in their lives themselves. And I think we're all guilty of that. I certainly am. So I asked her, when did you decide that you needed to pursue a career in a more stable field like psychology and become a therapist? And she basically said that she had moved to New York to become a dancer. She tried and tried for years. When she hit her 30s, early 30s, her body just changed, and then she started to think, okay, now is the time to choose a different path. And I appreciated that answer because as much as we're told there's always time to pursue our dreams, there are very real physical changes that people go through when they get older. And I think especially if you've made choices in your life where not only are you getting older, but maybe you are in a long-term partnership, or you're married, or you have kids, or you have pets, dependents of any kind, or you have aging parents. The older we get, the more these sorts of responsibilities start to stack up on us. It can be really tough to feel like you deserve to make a selfish choice, or what feels like a selfish choice, when you have these dependencies and you feel like you're on a timeline and you have other people relying on you and there are relationships involved. And what that got me thinking about is, when you're choosing whether or not to pursue a dream or to pursue a more secure path, I think it's important to think back to those times where you had to make those milestone choices along the way. So if you were in a relationship, when did you decide that you wanted to be with this person? Did you see it as something that would fill your cup and feel like an additive to your life? And if the answer was yes, then what is sometimes a scary choice, or it's always a big choice, but what is sometimes a choice that people really have to think through, you still made it because you trusted your gut and it felt right enough where it was a yes for you. And the same thing with having children or getting a pet, because pets are a responsibility, or making a big investment, whether that's a home or a car or planting yourself in a city for a certain number of years. Those are all big choices. And even when we think about long-term decisions around our dreams and goals, we have to remind ourselves that in the moment, this is just a decision for now. It can be almost debilitating when you're thinking about these decisions that we overthink. They're inconsequential, because it's not until we start making choices in the direction of where we're being pulled that more options will start to reveal themselves. So if you are overthinking something and you're sort of treating a specific choice as a huge deal, just know that after you make that choice, there are going to be a bunch of other choices that you're going to need to make afterwards. And your life is just going to be a stack of the numerous choices that you've made over time. You have more power in the choice than you think. So that's all for today. That's just something that was in my brain. Do something that makes you happy today. Until next time, take care.